Welcome to Real Estate Secrets Unlocked, the podcast that takes you inside the minds of the industry's top professionals, revealing their top secrets to success. I'm your host, Danielle Damianov. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, get ready to learn the latest trends, strategies, and secrets that will help you succeed. Join us as we go beyond the basics and explore what it takes to make it in the world of real estate. So buckle up and get ready for a wild ride. This is Real Estate Secrets Unlocked. Hey everybody, it's Danielle Damianov with Real Estate Secrets Unlocked, and I am super excited today. We are going to be talking about land and investing in land with Brent Bowers. He is with the Land Sharks. Brent, you're muted, so you might want to unmute yourself. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So Brent is with the Land Sharks. We're super excited to talk to him today. He is in the Florida market, and the Florida market is very interesting right now. So Brent, thank you so much for being here, and tell everybody a little bit, about what you do and how you got started.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Danielle. I know it's been a while since we've been trying to put this together. So, oh boy, how did I get started? I got started in real estate in 2007 in the South Florida market. Took a little break. I took a little break where I quit from about 2009 to 2013. I joined the military because I guess I thought that would be easier than real estate. But I always wanted to be a real estate investor. I was reading The Art of the Deal in middle school. I was studying up. I always tell people I've been practicing real estate for 20 years now, since 2004, when I graduated high school in Okeechobee, Florida. But how did I get started? It was, 2016. We had just had our first baby, and I was preparing for my third combat deployment where I was leaving home again. A lot of people think, oh, you just deploy for a year or you're deploying for 9 months. Well, no, there's also a year train up involved with it. So you're gone for like a lot of your military career. And my wife was like, I'm over it, and it wasn't as nice as I just said there. So I had to figure out something else to do, a way to make income. It was really not a lot at the time, like almost $5,000 a month. And I figured it out how to do it with vacant raw land, where I was selling the stuff on seller financing, and it changed my life. I became the bank really with nothing. Like I created out of thin air. I shouldn't say thin air, but that's what entrepreneurs do. We create income out of solving one person's problem. In my case, it was three people's problem: my problem, the buyer's problem, and the seller's problem.
That's awesome. So, first of all, getting started in real estate in 2007, I can completely understand why you would take a break from it because 2007 was not a good year for anybody that's been in real estate for that long. But vacant land, it's funny because my husband, we're in Southwest Florida, and he was flipping a couple years back vacant land. So I'm just kind of curious, how are you identifying the markets or the market of where, the lucrative investments are? And are you investing in single family? Is it multifamily? What are you doing?
Yeah, I just did a land deal somewhat close to you in Lee County, Coral Gables area. I'm sorry, Cape Coral. No, I always confuse those for some reason. I've been in Florida most of my
Have you
life.
been to both of them? You won't.
Yeah, yeah. I have been to neither one of them.
Okay.
So, but that's what's cool about land. Is you can do it virtually. But how do I find markets? So this is not how I started, by the way, but how I do it now is I look for demand. I look where land is selling, AKA where is it trading at? And then we price it out with our software. And then we send what's called LOLs, or land offer letters. Because every time I get one back, I laugh out loud. So we send out a bunch of offers. How do you do real estate? You make a bunch of offers. How do you get married? You make a bunch of offers. Like, men have to make more offers than women. I don't think my wife was making any offers. I made all the offers to her. Took me a bunch of times. She finally said yes. But it's the same thing with doing deals. It's just making a bunch of offers. Most people are going to say no, but who cares? No one's going to remember me. They just throw my letter away. Cost me 82 cents. But here's the thing: if I send 1,000 of those, I know I'm going to do one deal. It's
Right.
gonna make me like $10,000, and that's if it sells for cash. I prefer to seller finance this stuff because I wanna be the bank and I wanna get paid for 30 years on every land deal I do. So that's how I find my market. I find the demand. I figure out how much demand because I used to buy land in the middle of nowhere, the desert. I had to work like crazy to sell it. I had to offer like weird stuff for people to just buy this land that no one wanted. Well, I found out there's land that people do want. And there's also that same land, there's someone that doesn't want it. So I just figuring out who doesn't want it and figuring out who does want it, and just my product just seems to be land.
Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this podcast, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Real Estate Secrets Unlocked, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new episode. And by the way, if you're a mortgage or real estate professional looking to level up your business, check out the Done by One CRM. It's at donebyone.ai. It's packed tons of tools that will help you automate your business, automate your systems, your lead generation, your lead follow up, social media, email marketing, and it will allow you to close deals faster. If you are ready to take your career to the next level, join my team. We are looking for real estate agents, mortgage professionals, and real estate agents that want to be mortgage professionals. We're all about support, growth, and crushing it together. The links are in the description. Check them out now and let's grow together. So, are you just identifying an area, making lowball offers, sending out these letters, and then whatever ones, you're getting, then you're analyzing it afterwards? Or tell me what your process is.
I mean, you pretty much hit it on the head. I don't like to say low ball offer because it seems not, but that's really it. That's it. My process is I find the area where land's selling, I price it out, and then I send the offers, aka low ball offers. But I figure out where I need to be, where I want to be. I won't do a land deal unless I'm going to make at least $10,000.
Hmm.
And these are simple land flips. I'm not like going in and changing zoning, none of that stuff. I'm just keeping it exactly how it is. I mean, I never clear the land, except for the. I told you before we started hitting record. I've been having fun putting brand new mobile homes on some of our land, and that's been extremely profitable right now. But really, out of 300 plus land flips, I haven't touched any of it, and most of it haven't even looked at. I used to look at a lot of it, but I was like, "Oh, we should keep this one. We should put a cabin on it one day." And one day, my wife's like, "How many cabins do you need?" I was like, "Okay, you're right. I'm falling in love with this land." Um, this is in Colorado, by the way, not Florida. But I started in Colorado. But I think I kind of got a little off track of the question you asked, so I'm going to just pause.
Don't worry, I actually do that all the time, so but that's completely fine. So you mentioned though that were you living in Colorado? Is that when you were flipping land? Because I know that there's a lot of people that do flip land and they flip land all over the country. It doesn't matter if they live in Florida or live in Colorado or live in Massachusetts. They're identifying areas nationwide and then they're going in and flipping land. They don't have to be, in the area that they're flipping.
I was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. So yes, I was stationed in Colorado Springs. So that's where I started. I started in my own backyard. But heck, I flipped land when I was in Costa Rica. I've got a friend he's at kite surfing in Vietnam. He got out of I'm not the Army, Air Force. Um, I was Army. And he's like doing this from Vietnam and Prague. He goes back and forth. His girlfriend's in Prague. He likes to kite surf in Vietnam. So you don't have to be there. We've got the internet. Like honestly, our cell phone and our computer. Like I'm going to speak for career day in about 30 minutes for my 9-year-old son. There's 100 third graders. And like just like I'm bringing my phone to my computer. I don't have a PowerPoint or anything. I'm just going to ask them questions and kind of just have a fun with them. But all we need is a phone, a computer, and an internet connection. It's just nuts.
Exactly. So tell me about your tech stack. What are you using to identify the land and what does your team look like?
Yeah. So I used to have 15 team members at one time. This is when I was flipping houses, buying rentals, renovating rentals, and buying land at the same time. But I found out that I didn't want all that. That was like my ego I was feeding. And I just left a crazy military job and I thought I needed to like have 3 more businesses when I left and had all this time because I was making passive income. Well, people want to make passive income because they want to spend time with their family. I was just building businesses and my wife's like, wow, well, you're not, well, here we are. You're like working more now than ever. I'm like, cause I love it. And But how do I identify the land? So I use some very sophisticated software. It's available to anybody with an internet connection. It's called
Google
Rec.
Maps.
Yeah, that too.
Is it?
That Oh boy, Google. Yeah, Google Maps, Google Earth. But so so it could, let me back up a little bit. We can start with where's the demand. There's a great if you Google North American migration map, it's owned by North American Van Lines. So they look and they see where they're having to get all their trailers and vans back from, so they can see the outgoing states and the incoming states. Well, here's what they don't tell about the outgoing states. There's people from the outside the United States moving into those outgoing states like California. Me and a partner just did a heck of a deal in California. We bought the land for 35, we sold it for 79,000, had a bidding war. We were paid from 1 month from the time we bought the land.
Wow.
Like, it's nuts. So people think, California is an outgoing state, but let's go with my example here. You can go on North American migration map and you can see the incoming states like Idaho, South Carolina, Florida, Texas. Or Texas is actually an outgoing state now too. I've done a lot of deals in Texas. I'm not doing such great deals in Texas lately. So that state's some things have changed. You got to get that land for even cheaper
Mhm.
than what we had did before. So once you see the incoming states, then you can go to Redfin and go to the filters and look at sold and then vacant raw lands. And then all I'm looking at is like the last 3 to 6 months. It's okay if you even have to go back a year, as long as you're seeing some solds, and I call it clusters. I want to see like little tight patterns. Like I was in the military, so the tighter your shot pattern, you want to hit like a quarter or a silver dollar. You want to like hit all your bullets in that one spot. So it's the same thing I do when I'm looking for land deals. I want to see stuff selling in those areas with like, okay, there's the area, and I'm gonna click and see like how big the parcels are. Okay, they mostly look like they're 10,000 square foot lots, like maybe closer to where you're at in Southwest Florida, a lot of 10,000 square foot lots. I see that this land is selling for $3 a square foot. Well, if I want to make 10 grand on it, it's $30,000 property. I need to buy it for less than 20 to make a $10,000 profit. Now that doesn't include realtor fees or closing costs or title insurance, none of that stuff. So if you're going to use all that, which I highly recommend, then you should be making about 50 cents on the dollar offers. Well, the parcels I like doing are like usually a couple hundred grand. They're selling for 2 or 3,000 now. And let me just preface this to anybody listening to this, like a couple hundred grand, that's nuts. Well, my first house I bought in Okeechobee, Florida is $127,000. I had to mortgage myself for 30 years, and I put a tenant in there and they're paying almost 1,000 a month. I thought I was smart, so smart. My mortgage was 750. So 850, 950, 1,000. So that's $250 net, right? I owned that property from 2007 to 2019. Shame on me for selling it. And I sold it for exactly what I bought it for in 2007. And I look at my profit and loss statements. I like QuickBooks, so I want to treat this like a business. I have balance sheets. Um, I looked at my profit and loss statements. I never made a single penny the entire time I had that property. Now I depreciated it. I saved money on taxes, but really, like, I needed to make money back then. I didn't need to save money on taxes because I was hardly paying any money. Now it's a tax play. Like, I got to figure out how to save money on taxes because I want to keep this wealth. But I just took a lot of risk. And oh, by the way, I had multiple evictions. I had to replace the roof, the septic system, all kinds of stuff. Something broke every 6 months. But my land deals, like 300,000, I didn't start there as what I was getting at. These Colorado properties that I was buying, originally I started with a tax delinquent list. I was mailing people that were behind on their taxes. And these properties were so inefficient, not buildable, not accessible, landlocked. So I'm buying these things for like a couple $100 a piece because no one wanted them. So we thought. No one was even paying the back taxes. The sellers were like, just take it. Pay off the taxes, it's yours. And this stuff is like I sold I think my fifth property was like 2,000 square foot, and you needed 5,000 minimum to build in Colorado Springs. What are you gonna do with this then? I sold it to the neighbor so he could put a shed in, and I sold it with a cardboard box because I had all these moving boxes and I couldn't afford signs. So I put it up on the land and someone called it, and I made $5,000. I got it for $100 back taxes and sold it to the neighbor for 5,000. The first parcel I ever bought it seemed like I did my first like 6 or 7, I sold for 5,000 each. I was stuck on that $5,000 number. But the first one I ever bought was for $285, and I sold it to a realtor for 5,000. She sold it for 10,000. And now I sell those lots, the same lots that aren't buildable in that same road in Palmer Lake, Colorado, for 15,000 each. So it's just, I didn't start with a couple 100,000. You can start anywhere in this business.
Right. Well, let's talk about, because you had mentioned, you like doing seller finance and stuff like that. And in order to do seller finance, you really have to pay cash for the property. So for people that are not able to pay cash, right? How are they? Because a lot loans, first of all, you're probably not going to find a lot. You could use a credit card to buy a $3,000 lot. It's really
Done that. I've done that.
exactly. So let's talk about like financing, or how do you finance these?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, a lot of my was financed the first several. I'm actually we're going to a customer appreciation day tomorrow for Al's Red Barn. It's they have an orange grove. Well, they bought some land from us, and it's right next to my parents. So how did I buy that land? Back in 2016, it was like I think my 8th land deal. Big one. This one's like really big for me. 75 grand. I was like about to pee my pants, honestly. We just had our first baby. I just moved across the country. I was a second lieutenant in the military. And the guy wanted $30,000 down, and he would finance the rest. Why did he want 30 grand down? He wanted to buy a RV that he can live his last days. He thought he was going to live like 5 more years, and he was sure right about that. Crazy. So he died before I paid him off. Oh, I can tell that story
So
too.
did you get lucky?
Oh my God, did I get lucky. His nephew was on the mortgage to inherit that mortgage because he knew he was going to die. It was nuts. Well, I call his nephew. I said, I owe you your dad. Well, I owe your uncle, but he passed away. I owe you like 22 grand. I said, but I have like 5 grand in the bank account. I can keep paying you monthly, or I can give you the 5 grand if you call it clean. You send me a satisfaction mortgage. I'll take care of all the paperwork. The title company call you. And I was like, there's a book called Go for No. I was going for no. I thought the guy was giving me a bird finger. He's like, sure. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I traded 5 grand for 22 grand.
That's awesome.
But how did I buy that property? So I didn't have 30 grand down. That was like asking me for, you know, I don't know, $1 million back then. And, but I called USAA and I said, can I get a loan for 30,000? So they gave it to me 14.99%. Most people wouldn't be stupid enough to take a 14.99% loan, but I did. And then I sold that land.
Was it a personal loan or a lot loan?
Personal loan. They wouldn't even give me a lot loan. They would not finance land for me. So they said, we'll give you a credit card basically. And I said, I'll take it. So they transferred that money in my account like 3 weeks later. I sent it to the title company, and I got that guy to finance me the remaining 45,000 at 9.5 years at 0% interest.
Wow.
But I got a 14% interest over here. So what I did, I sold that land for $29,000 down, and I paid off that loan, and then I gave him a 30-year mortgage at like 9.5%. So I'm like making several $100s a month positive income each month out of thin air. Like I didn't have that money. And then that guy paid me for like 5 years as well. And it's weird. He died. So
We should be doing deals with you, Brent.
yeah, this is like, I've had so many weird.
You might not be here.
So no, that's I'm
Joking.
I'm not feeling these people. But anyhow, like his sister sold it. This time they sold it for like 300,000. And I was like trying to buy it back from them. Because I was kicking myself for selling that land, by the way. But the guy that's bought it now, we're going to see it. He's redone the whole barn. He's got peach trees. It's so beautiful now. So I was like, I had a little play in that. But we ended up making over $125,000 on that land deal because that 30-year mortgage I gave him, they paid me for like 5 years, and the balance barely went down.
Yeah.
And I got the land almost like it was free and clear at that point. Um, so yeah, I made over 100 grand on that one right there by just being creative. Another one, my mother-in-law loaned me the money for 40 grand on. I pay her 9% interest on her money. We're about to pay her off. We sold that one for 95,000. We got 5 grand down, and we get almost 1,000 a month on that. So I kept the 5 grand, and then I only keep about $200 a month on that deal. But we're about to pay my mother-in-law off, and this guy's got like 6 more years left to pay us. So we'll make over 100 grand on that one as well. So you can do this without any money,
Right.
you know,
Well,
or any of
it's
your
about
own.
getting creative. It's about knowing what you want and getting creative how to make it all happen, and that's what a lot of real estate investors do, especially when you're just starting out and then you get enough money to, not have to get so creative.
That's true. It's easier when you got a pocket full of cash. But that's how I started. I was actually only doing the small deals because I didn't have any cash back
Right.
then.
Well, you got started in tax liens, right? People that just needed to get there. So where are you seeing the market right now? Because I know in the real estate market, it's inventory super high. We're definitely seeing homes sitting on the market. Rates are still high. Where are you seeing the land market?
Yeah, I still see things moving. It's slowing down a little bit, especially places like Texas. I'm not seeing much of a slowdown in Florida. Some of the things that I've been doing with, so I had some honey holes in Florida that we were making piles of cash on. Because I do a lot of quick flips too. I prefer the seller financing, but the quick flips are, nice and juicy and fun and exciting. But some of those areas where it's like, oh man, we're not making any money on these deals. Don't buy them. We can now pay like what these people are expecting because the consumer always takes forever to catch up. They've been watching the news for 10 years now, like, man, it's going up, 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 up. So they think it's worth a bunch of money. So we're having to pay more for it. But I'm just putting a brand new mobile home on.
So that's what I
Now,
thought. Let's talk about that. So you're saying global, you mean manufactured.
yeah, a brand new manufactured home, a double wide, 1,500 square foot with drywall. I mean, these are beautiful houses, brand new.
Who's the manufacturer that you're using? Is it J?
There's Cavco, there's so many of them. So I actually look at the market and figure out which one to use. We have a couple different markets, but Cavco's great. There's some tricks behind it though. There's ways where you can get these things for like $40,000 less. Where I used to pay full retail for these still things and still make money. Oh my God, there's ways like you
Give
can.
us the secret.
Yeah. Well, get your dealer's license. That's one secret. Another, so we just shave. I'm looking at, so I teach people how to do this as well with the land sharks. We have a guy that's been very successful in land, and he's doing a mobile home deal. We're like, we could shave off 15 grand right here off of your numbers. And that's going to, so he was only looking at like 30K profit and he wanted us to fund it. And I was okay to fund it, but my partner's like, "Ah, let's see what we can do." So now he's looking at a $45,000 profit, and he's like, and I'll fund that all day long type thing. So yeah, we're teaching people how to do this, how to find the exact land. This is for the mobile home side. Same thing for the land sharks, but the land sharks mobile homes, we're teaching them how to find the land where you can put a mobile home on, and then step by step how to do it and earn at least 45 grand per deal. And a lot of people are really good at finding deals. They have time, they can find deals, but a lot of people can't get past their head is, well, how do I find the money for these deals? I don't have any money. No one I know has money. That's
I have the money. I'm I'm a loan officer and we have manufactured home financing.
sweet. That's so good to know because all of our manufacturers, we get them approved for FHA. We get the FHA ladder, VA, and conventional. So send me your buyers. We're building four right now in Okeechobee, Florida. You know, let's
Yeah,
do
no,
some deals.
definitely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
hard on the front end though. A lot of people have a hard time finding the money on the front end. And most people like that don't have money, they think that no one else has money, which they're dead wrong. That's why they don't have money. But when you start seeing money everywhere, it's weird. It just comes to you. And there's processes to build that. Like you do 300 plus deals, people are going to start finding out and they'll give you money because they want to make. Here's one thing I learned about people with money. They wanna make more. It's a game to them. They don't it's not like the love of money is the root of all evil. It's just a game.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love it. So you're putting manufactured homes now on this land. Are you renting them out? Are you
No,
flipping?
I hate rentals. Didn't you listen to the first part? No, I'm just kidding. I do like rentals, but I like light industrial rentals that they're business owners, and it's called they're triple net leases. They never call you unless the roof blows off. But we're selling them. No, we're outright selling them. One day I'd like to be able to personally sell or finance them, but I'm just not there right now.
Right.
But we're selling them to people that want a house on land. And what's really cool, like South Carolina, we're in South Carolina doing this as well. The median home price in the area of South Carolina we're in is like 260 grand. I'm sorry, 460 grand. Sorry, 460 grand. And we're selling brand new mobile homes on an acre of land for 230 grand. So we're half the median home price. And we're providing a brand new home with warranty, not a fixer upper. And think of how big our buyers pool.
You help in the community with affordable housing.
It's awesome. And people are getting behind it. And like sometimes these things sell in a weekend. And it's like your buyers pool is so much bigger, especially when the interest rates go up. Like
Yeah.
you cannot lose on affordable housing.
Right.
You
Exactly.
can, you could screw up in a lot of ways because you're building. But there's checklist. You give me a checklist, I can pretty much do it. I could drive a race. I could start a helicopter and fly a helicopter if you give me a checklist.
Well, I love it. I mean, land is definitely one of the, a lot of people get into real estate and they think, oh, I'm going to do the fix and flips and then the Burr method and then, this and that. And I'll tell you right now, people right now are fixing, but they're not flipping.
Oh, I know. I got 3 of my rentals for sale. They're just not moving.
Yeah, no, I have my investment properties that are for sale up for rent now because exactly, they're not moving. I bought all my St. Joseph's on Amazon. I prayed in the front of the yard. I buried those St. Joseph's and nothing's happening.
Well,
So,
you've got plenty of people in your mortgage database, I'm sure, that couldn't qualify for a mortgage. Maybe you can do a seller lease with the option to buy.
yeah, I could definitely do that. Yep. Yeah, no, it's a tough market right now, and I know land is definitely still moving. You can find people, especially my husband, what he was doing was finding people that are out of the country, right? They inherit this land, they live in Germany, they have no idea, and actually that's probably a good idea right now since a lot of people that are out of the country are not wanting to come back.
Have you been on our support calls? That's what we're talking about lately. And what's funny is we're buying from people out of the country and then we're selling to people out of the country because people just want to own American land.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome. Well, thank you so much. So, if anybody wants to get into coaching with you or into your program, where can they find you?
Thelandsharks.com.
Thelandsharks.com. You had a lot of great information, and I'm sure you're able to really like teach your coaching clients how to not only flip land but also build generational wealth, which is what you're doing. And then the manufactured homes, I love it. I mean, that's definitely something that we're looking to get into too. So if anyone needs financing for manufactured homes, including the new construction manufactured homes, like it's not already on the lot, right? I can do that.
I
So
want to get your information right now, and I'm sure there's someone else that's going to need it as well.
yes,
But I assume you lend in Okeechobee, Florida?
we lend. Yes, I'm licensed in Florida. I'm licensed in Texas. People on my team are nationwide. So if anybody needs manufactured housing, financing, FHA, conventional, VA, I think we even do USDA, which would be 100%.
Really?
Yeah. So we definitely have a lot of options for that. Any type of investing, fix and flip, DSCR, whatever you need, we got the financing for it. We have over 265 lenders. So equipment financing, business financing, SBA, commercial, residential, everything.
Do you do SBA for light industrial buildings?
Yeah. Yeah, we have it for everything. Yep.
What's a good phone number?
786-359-7976. And all of my contact info will be in the bottom of this video as well as Brent's. So if anybody wants to get in touch with him for coaching, and, start making some real money and change your life so you can be out with your family and doing things that you love, hook him, find him. He would be great to coach with. If anybody needs financing or help with real estate, because I am on the real estate side as well, we can help you there too. So great great time today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. Any last little words you want to say?
Go out there and make it happen. Get out of education mode. If you've been educated, you find yourself, you've been in education mode more than 6 months, you need to lift off like a rocket, drink a Red Bull and go out there and buy something. Let's go. Don't let this market scare you.
Exactly. That's what a lot of people do. They have analysis paralysis, right? They just want to study and get it right and not make a mistake and blah, blah, blah. And the only way you're going to learn is by making mistakes.
That's right. Make a bunch of offers. I made an offer this morning on a bunch of properties, a whole portfolio. It's just you just got to do it, and I know they're going to say no. Or I shouldn't say that. That's actually terrible thinking. They could say no, but
Go for now.
go for no. Great book. Check out the book, guys.
Yeah, and if anybody needs, I also have a VA company. So we can have the VAs write these offers for you. You don't even have to write the offers.
That's
Um, yeah. So anyways, thank you so much, Brent. This was awesome. A lot of great information. Hook them up if you want to get into coaching. And I appreciate you being here.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye. Well, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Real Estate Secrets Unlocked. Don't forget to subscribe to our show on your favorite platform, and we would love your feedback. Check us out on social and let me know what topics you want more of. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and our show. I'm your host, Danielle Damianov, and until next time, stay motivated, stay excited, and keep growing in this crazy world of real estate. Thanks for listening to Real Estate Secrets Unlocked.